Ajay, start with housing. Sir, Honorable Chief Minister, Sir, Honorable Deputy CM, Honorable Ministers, respected Chief Secretary, my colleagues and dear collectors. Sir, housing is one of the basic needs. As Honorable CM said, roti, kapda or makan. So these are the essential needs of any individual. And sir, when the debate between welfare and development is going on in the entire country, here we have a program which is both development program, which is a welfare program, it's a poverty alleviation program, and it's also an employment generation program. So I would just take 2-3 minutes to highlight how housing is in alignment with the present government priorities. Now coming to the present government priorities, first is the GDP growth. And housing is included under Sustainable Development Goal 11. So it's part of the SDG also. Now coming to the GDP, the construction sector alone contributes 8% of the GDP. And for every unit invested in housing, GDP increases by 1.5 times. So multiplier effect is 1.5. Therefore, if we have to increase your district GDP and in turn increase the state GDP, the more investment done in housing, the more the GDP increases. Now coming to the second priority, it's employment generation. Now for every 1 lakh unit, every 1 lakh rupees invested in housing adds almost 2.7 new jobs. And these are not what I am saying of myself. These are by the study done by the Indian economy by National Council of Applied Economic Research. And alone it's the fourth largest employment generating sector, and total contribution is about 11.5%. So first of all, it adds to GDP, it adds to the employment. And third most important is poverty reduction. We are talking about zero poverty, and we are saying approximately 12 to 15 lakh people in the state are below poverty. And I'm sure that these are the people who don't have a house also. And for again every unit invested in housing, the household income increases by 0.41 units. So I am reminded of the words of the Honorable Prime Minister while he launched the housing program, sir, our Honorable PM Modi. So he said कि जब किसी भी व्यक्ति को एक घर की चाबी देते हैं, तो वो सिर्फ घर की चाबी नहीं, वो दिमाग की चाबी होती है. Basically what he meant was, if a person is given a key to the house, it is a key to his mind, it's a key to his self-confidence. So confidence of the person increases when he has a roof over the head. So therefore it's one of the biggest poverty alleviation program, housing. Fourth is we are talking about skill development. Housing requires a lot of skilled people, so it could contribute. Fifth is we are talking about P4 partnership, the public-private people partnership. Top 10% contributing to the bottom 10%. In a housing we can try that if in a municipality or in a village, top 10 people can help the bottom 10 houseless people in construction of the house, we can have a beginning from there. And the most important thing is that whatever we do, whatever the money is spent in housing, 1 rupee invested, 12 paisa comes back to the state. And the best part is even that 1 rupee, the state government did not have to spend. It is coming from the central government. So what I am saying is it's a win-win-win situation for everybody if the district collectors focus on the housing program. Now if we come to the housing program, Honorable CM had a meeting on 29th of July, and then he was very clear that housing program should continue, and the manifesto of the present government also states that housing would be completed for all those who were sanctioned houses, and for future 3 cents of house site would be provided in rural areas and 2 cents in urban areas. That's for the future. For those who have been given housing, it would be continued. Now if we see the housing program in the state of Andhra Pradesh, we had 4 schemes. The first 3 are Government of India schemes, PMAY Urban, BLC program, that is a beneficiary-led construction program, in which we got a sanction of total 18 lakh houses. Almost 27,000 crores were sanctioned by Government of India in the last 10 years. And then the progress, if we see, about 35% houses are completed, not started are 26%, and in progress are close to 39%. So this is in the ULB and UD limits. Then if we talk about the Grameen, because we have got very less area in the Grameen, so we got about 2.46 lakh houses, again 20% completed and 51% houses in progress. And recently Honorable Prime Minister for PVTG, the primitive tribal groups, he launched the program of PM Janman housing in the 8 districts of Andhra Pradesh for specific primitive tribes, in which we have got about 35,970 houses, Of course, in the previous government from 14 to 19, we had the state-sponsored housing also in the name of India Rural Housing. But in the previous government from 19 to 24, it was discontinued. Only the above three programs were taken up. In short, if we can see, about 20.84 lakh houses were sanctioned, in which 6.85 lakh houses have been completed, and almost 8.25 lakh houses are in progress, and we could not start 5.74 lakh houses. Unit cost, as collectors are aware, the unit cost was fixed at 1.8 lakhs, in which 1.5 lakhs was coming from Government of India, 30,000 was by way of NREGA in UD areas, and by the state share in ULB areas. So almost 26,000 crores we have spent in last 10 years as far as the housing is concerned. The best part of housing is there is no dearth of funds. I am again repeating, there is no dearth of funds. We have got 700 crores in our bank account still lying unutilized. So we have to spend that money, and Government of India is willing to give us additional 7,500 crores, because all these programs were to end by December of 2024. But on our request, they have agreed to extend by June of 2025. That's we have only 11 months time. If we do not spend the money, the result would be either of the threefold. Either the houses would remain incomplete, or if they have to be completed, the state government has to spend the money, or the beneficiary has to spend the money. Whereas central government is willing to spend the money, we have earmarked in the budget also, but unfortunately we are not able to utilize the budget due to less expenditure, particularly in the last 6 months since elections were declared. Now another good news is that for the new beneficiaries now, Government of India, Honorable PM, in the first cabinet meeting, you must have seen the newspapers, he has announced 3 crore houses, new houses, in urban areas 1 crore and in rural areas 2 crores. And they have promised that each eligible person will be provided a house in the entire country. So I am sure in Andhra Pradesh, whosoever eligible person has not got the house, he will be eligible under PMEY 2.0, in which the unit cost has been increased. For urban areas, it is close to about 4.3 lakhs, and for rural area about 2.1 lakh. Still the guidelines are awaited, but once the guidelines come in the month of August, we will share with you. But please remember, these are only for the new beneficiaries. Beneficiary who has been sanctioned a house in the earlier scheme, he may not have completed, he will not be eligible for enhanced unit cost. Because what they said is, if we allow them, their entire housing program would come to a stop. So this is my request. So one is, the decision taken by Honorable CM was this, that all the in progress houses, which is about 8.25 lakh houses, should be completed by June of 2025. That means by next 11 months, we should strive to complete the remaining 8.25 lakh houses which are in progress. And for houses not started, 5.74 lakh houses, substantial number, about 1.5 lakh, like the CRD, the R5 zone, and some in Prakasham which were done just before the elections, while they can be postponed to PMEY 2.0, but the remaining houses, they are saying please start and please try to complete by June of 2025 in case you want to take the money. If you can see the district-wide sanctions, sir, out of the 26 districts, almost 7 districts have got more than 1 lakh sanctions, and almost 16 districts are between 50,000 to 1 lakh, and only 3 districts, that is ASR, Parvatipuram and Konaseema, are less than 50,000. So substantial workload is there for all the collectors as far as housing is concerned. Now what we expect from the collectors is, number one, making housing as your topmost program. As I said, it is contributing to the goals of the present government. Therefore, unless you make it a priority, the district officials down the line, the mandal officials will not take it as a priority. Number two is the fortnightly review with the officials. As I said, it is not a program of only housing department. It involves municipal commissioners, involves MDOs and the line departments. I will come to the infrastructure and all the line departments and up to the village and ward secretariat. Each engineering assistant, basically I would require support of the PR and RD and MNUT department in case we have to take it to the logical conclusion. Then appointment of district level officials as special officers for each mandal and municipality, and again the mandal or municipal level officer for each of the housing layout. And then of course lead by example. Undertake the field visits yourself. You start interacting with the housing beneficiary in the colonies. Other day I saw in the newspaper today, Honorable Civil Supplies Minister has undertaken a visit to the housing colony. So if the collectors personally visit the housing colonies, you will come to know the problems. It is not that problems are not there. There are so many problems, but of course we have to solve the problems. Then of course preparation and implementation of action plan for completion of this 8.2 lakh houses. It's not an easy task, very difficult task, because we have to spend about 9,000 crores in 330 days. So every day 30 crores expenditure has to be made. Every day 2,500 houses have to be completed. And if we see as on today, only 1 crore expenditure and less than 200 houses completed. So almost 30 times the more effort we have to put. And then completion of 1.25 lakh houses as part of the 100 days action plan. Honorable CM has announced we should complete by October. October 2nd is what we are targeting on the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. At least minimum 1.25 lakh houses should be dedicated to the nation. Then another point is all the eligible households who are sanctioned for, who are eligible for new houses. I'm appealing to the honorable ministers also, all the MLAs also, whenever if we find even one person who is eligible, if he has not got the house, we can include them under PMAY 2.0. Shortly after the guidelines come, we will be rolling out an act and all the eligible people can be enrolled in this. So that idea is by 2029, there should not be any one person who does not have a house of his or her. And then another important point is thorough verification of eligibility, because we have received certain complaints. Honorable CM asks us to do big data analytics. We are doing it, Ali Babu is doing it. We have found that certain 5 to 10% of the households who were not eligible, particularly like in the case of Pulivendra, we found some people who were not eligible were sanctioned house sites and in turn the housing. So we need to delete those and also take action against the people who have recommended. So I am sure that this problem could be there in some other districts. With the big data analytics, we will share that list and we do the physical verification, follow the principles of natural justice by giving them a notice, and then take action for cancellation of the house set and the house system. Then most challenging aspect of housing is infrastructure. So it is not only housing, it is infrastructure which is more important. Generally when a private developer does, he takes up the infrastructure first. He completes the roads, water, electricity, drainage, and then construct the house. But as part of the reverse governance, we had taken up in a reverse way. We constructed the houses first, and now we are talking about infrastructure. So basically there is, except electricity which has been given by the DISCOMs, water supply needs to be tied up under the Jal Jeevan Mission in the UD areas, under the Amrit scheme in the ULB areas. Again CC roads and drains, it needs to be tied up under NREGA. So we are heavily dependent on Panchayat Raj, NREGA funds, the Jal Jeevan Mission funds, and the ULB's Amrit scheme, in which all these households can be covered. So please, because unless we provide infrastructure, even if we complete the houses, nobody is going to occupy, and it would be a wastage of national resources. So please make efforts to see that the infrastructure is provided. Then, as I said, on a daily basis, review the physical stage conversions. As I said, almost 2,500 houses have to be completed. District-wise also, I had mentioned in the previous slide, how many stage conversions had to be done on a daily basis, how much money you need to spend district-wise. And then, of course, the financial progress, as I said, 20 crores per day, and efforts to be made for grounding the non-started houses. Because if a person is really eligible and is without a house, then why is he not coming forward to construct the house? And then daily completion of 2,500 houses and incurring expenditure of 30 crores for getting further funds from Government of India. Money, as I said, is not a problem, will not be a problem also. Honorable CM has assured that whatever money comes from Government of India will be passed on to the Housing Department. And the last slide is a special focus request by the following collectors, while all collectors need to concentrate on this in grounding of houses. NTR, Nellore, Visakhapatnam, Guntur and Krishna collectors need to give special focus. In stage conversions, Visakhapatnam, Kadapa, Eluru, Guntur and NTR. In completion of houses, again Nellore, Vizag, Kadapa, Tirupati and Srikakulam. Verification of eligibility, Kadapa. Quality of houses also, we have received certain complaints, particularly where some labor agencies were doing. In Visakhapatnam, Eluru, NTR, Nellore and Anantapur. And infrastructure, of course, all districts, but these are the districts where large number of houses are there. Visakhapatnam, Guntur, NTR, Krishna and West Godavari. So these collectors on these areas, we want special focus to be made. While all collectors, we require your support to make the vision of Honorable Prime Minister and Honorable Chief Minister of Housing for All by 2029 a reality. Thank you. Tourism.
Honorable CM, Honorable Deputy